Okay, so basically today is Wednesday. I'm going to give you all of today and all of Friday to work on this next assignment, which is the conclusion of the whole project. All late work must be turned in by Friday. I know some of you have been turning in some late work and I've been trying to grade it at the end of the day or when I have time here and there. The sooner you get late work to me, the better. The better it is for all of us, for you and for me. I have enough time to grade it and whatnot. So don't wait until the last minute. But the last minute is Friday, because next week I'll be grading your final presentations. Okay, so your final presentation, again, from yesterday, you're going to create something super creative to showcase what you've a problem with your storm drain and a solution to that problem. Now, it could be one of two things. You can come up with a solution based on what you see is wrong with your storm drain. Like during my observations, I realized that this is that. Cool. How would you solve it? How would you solve it? You can also do the second way to do this final project is, okay, what chemicals did you realize tested positive? What dangerous chemicals did you test positive for? Okay, so you tested positive for these chemicals. Cool. What's the solution to decrease or completely eliminate this pollutant getting into your storm drain? So it was positive for chemical A. Okay, so I think that if we do this to the storm drain, or we educate the public, it will reduce the amount of chemical A. Cool. How are you going to educate those people? What are you going to do? Oh yeah, we're going to create posters. Okay, cool. What does that poster look like? Oh, that's what I need to see. That's what you need to explain to me. So this is like the final project is like multiple layers. You can start off with the Google presentation, like here's a picture of my storm drain. This is the problem. Next slide. This is the solution. Next slide. This is the poster I'm going to put on around my neighborhood. Next slide. I strongly believe that if we educate the people, pollutant A will decrease and maybe be eliminated from the storm drain. Next slide. Thank you. That's it. So it's going to be like a couple of different things all pushed together. You're going to introduce your drain, pictures of your drain. You submitted a picture of your drain. If you want to go back out there and take more pictures of your drain, it would make your presentation more powerful. If you feel like you want to improve your drain and a way to showcase that, to represent that, to let us know how you want to fix your drain, like if you were going to present to the city, a simple sketch would do it, right? If you're like, you know what, if we design the storm drain to look like this or to include this, here's just a hand-drawn picture. I went to a presentation today with another group of students, just like you guys, but I went to their presentation and let me see if I can show you this. Like one of the students, they were on campus, they were in Nevada and they were on campus. So they presented a little bit differently than what we're going to be doing. Okay, my computer's not responding. What's going on? Why are you not working? Well, I wanted to show you. Well, I'll show you if it works later on. Huh. I wonder what's going on. Let's see if I do a new window. I'm trying to get my camera to activate. So your final presentation is not one slide at all, multiple slides. Let me just close this whole thing up. Oops, wrong one. Close that. Wrong one. Okay. This one? Why won't it work? What's going on? Huh. All right. I was going to try to show you with my document camera, but it's just not working. It's not activating the document camera. Oh, well. I'll show you on my little tiny screen up here. Let me. So we had this student like kind of sketch, it's hard to see, kind of sketch her like proposal of her drain. Hers was like on the roof, so it's different because they were at school. So, but they literally were hand drawing what it would look like, and then they were describing like their solution. So that's kind of what I'm expecting from you guys. It's like, okay, and then someone's like, oh, we can educate everybody. Cool. What does educate mean? And then they created posters that would educate the people. So that's cool. If you want to educate the community, you can. They have a different type. Again, they were at school. So they were like, you know what? This is what our storm drain looks like. But if we include this inside the storm drain and make the storm drain look like this, it will solve part of our problems. Notice on the slide, let me zoom out. Do you guys see like a lot of, it's horrible, but whatever, we'll make it work. Do you guys see that there is not a lot of writing on the slide? There's hardly any writing. So their presentation was all spoken. They only showed pictures, and then they were just talk about the pictures. They were explained to us, what are those pictures describing? It was a totally really different way of presenting, but I loved it because instead of reading bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, boring, 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 I, as the audience, was just looking at the images and listening to what the students were saying. And I found that fantastic. I was like, wow, this is one of the best presentations ever, because I'm not just sitting there reading, boring, oh my gosh, more reading. No, it was a simple 2 or 3 pictures. And what it really was, it was what I was hearing from the students. And you guys are presenting to us on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's going to be perfect. I'm going to listen to what you're presenting to us. When you're on Google Slides, so let's say I'm going to do this one. And what you don't realize is that you can add, so here's my Google slide, right? And I have just one picture. And then here where you say click to add speaker notes, if you click down here, you can type what you will be saying to the class. So instead of doing bullet point, you're boring us, you literally take 1 or 2 pictures, and then down here is where you're going to tell us what you're going to say, right? And so this is where all the information is. This is where you're going to tell me like, okay, so it might be a different way of you creating a presentation, but I think it's a much better presentation if you don't just bore us, literally, hate to say it, with bullet points. Okay, this is just randomness, but it's just like, okay, all right, yeah, that's cool. Okay, sure. Okay, that's fine. Boring. But instead, you just give us a couple images to look at while we listen to what you're saying. So try it out. Again, your presentation, the first one's like intro. Second slide is like introduce your drain. Third slide is what's the problem? Fourth slide, what's your solution? Fifth, how are you going to do it? What do you need? And then the last slide is thank you very much type of thing. You can use Canva. You can use Flipgrid. You can use, you can create videos. You can create a bunch of stuff. Like if you want to be like, oh my God. If you want to be like a newscaster, like breaking news coming live from this storm drain down here where we see a bunch of trash. How can we fix that? Oh my God, that would be awesome if you do that. That would be A++ right there. So if you're willing to do like a commercial or a breaking news, oh my God, that would be awesome. All right, I'm gonna be quiet now. I'll give you some time to think. If you have any questions, if you want to shoot ideas with me, please feel free. I'm gonna try to see if I could kind of help you break it down. Be creative, be awesome. I'll let you know exactly like, hey, I need you to include, although the this already kind of tells you what I'm looking for. This one, the final presentation BMP. This does right here, this does tell you what I'm looking for. Try including a photo of your drain, your you during your collection, you doing your chemical testing. Make sure you have a script. So here kind of tells you you're not doing number 6, which is the cost. You're not doing that unless, no, you're not. Okay, so these are the things I need you to do. Okay. Pause the recording and answer the question in the chat. So I just kind of did like a really rough draft, and you don't have to follow this. If you're like, Miss O'Malley, that's too limiting. I know, I think I can be more creative if I do it this way, by all means. This is like the minimum. Like this is like, I have no idea what to do. This is a minimum. So first slide, your introduction. Second slide, your drain. What's your problem with your drain? What's your solution? Is it a source or a treatment? What is the solution? How are you going to implement the solution, right? Or do we have to build something? Do we have to educate? Assemblies, posters, videos, what? How are you going to implement it? And then maybe like an impact or a closing, like I hope that this will eliminate blah, blah, blah in our stormwater. So this would be super basic outline of your presentation. Real boring, just presentation. But if you're like, no, Miss Emily, I totally want to do it this way or do that way, cool. But make sure you hit these points. So make sure I know what your drain looks like. Make sure that you clearly state what the problem of your drain is. Make sure you include your solution and how you're going to implement your solution and a conclusion. Okay. So even if you're like, no, I want to do something else, make sure you do include that information. This was just like super basic outline.